We're heading home after our weekly outing to Jerry's for coffee and some food for breakfast. And I'm trying out my new Kemi Moto motorcycle gloves. Woohoo! As you can probably tell, these are summer gloves. And as the old classic song says, summer gloves are like no other gloves. Yes, I've been given these for free, but I'm under no obligation to be nice. A couple of videos ago I reviewed some soft panniers from the same company, and I wasn't particularly complimentary, but to their credit, they offered to replace them immediately, and they also sent me these gloves. We're only a few weeks into spring here in Oz, but the weather's warming up already, although it's only a pleasant sort of 25 degrees at the moment, but it's going to warm up as the day goes by. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's unpack them first and see what they look like. Well, the first thing to note is they've also chucked in a cup holder. We'll have a look at that later. First thing to notice is they've come in this nice resealable bag. I reckon that'd be handy. Anyway, let's get a first impressions of what the build quality looks like. Have they got poor stitching? Are the panels misaligned? Does the actual material look poor quality? Well, I'm forced to admit that so far everything looks perfect. They've got padded hard knuckles. Even that grey reflective stuff is put on properly. Okay, so point one's got a tick. Let's try them for fit. Well, I'd have to say they fit like a glove. And like Baby Bear's porridge, they're not too tight and not too loose. The wrist attachment is nice and comfortable and just long enough. So I reckon I'll give them a tick as well. And here's the sizing chart that I used. Turns out that this was perfectly accurate for my hands. But the real test is what are they like on the bike. The biggest issue I have with gloves is that I've got particularly skinny hands, even though they're long. And so some gloves bunch up in the palm, but these aren't, which is a real bonus. This means I've got comfortable grip on the, well, grips, and good dexterity for the levers. This means I can have good control of the motorcycle. As you can see, it's only about 25 degrees C at the moment, which is a very pleasant riding temperature. I can feel the air coming through the material in the gloves, which is excellent. I've been riding road bikes and dirt bikes ever since I got my road licence way back in 1973. So I've gone through quite a few gloves in that time. And over the years I've become a multiple glove person. I've got winter gloves, I've got intermediate type gloves, and then summer gloves. I forgot to mention earlier that these motorcycle gloves are made in China, as are most motorcycle products these days. I have to admit I don't like wearing winter gloves if I can get away with it. The bulk of a winter glove just doesn't give you the same feel and control of the motorcycle. But because I'm a soft little wimp, I make the compromise and I wear winter gloves when it's cold. Kemi Moto make winter gloves as well, so it might be interesting to find out how good they are. The next bit of road is a favourite bit of twisties, and it's really good to feel one with the bike. This isn't really my thing, but for those who play with their phone while they're riding their bike, the gloves are also touch sensitive. And it's interesting to note that all the fingers work, and the thumb, not just the pointing finger. So far we've got 4 out of 4 ticks, but what about safety? Let's have a look at the CE rating. Well, that's a surprise. It's got a CE rating of 2, which is the highest rating you can have for gloves. So they're not only comfortable and cool, they're very safe as well. And I note that my very expensive 5 gloves only have a rating of 1. Okay, I told you I'd show you the cup holder as well. I'm not a cup holder sort of guy, not for a motorbike anyway, but this looks pretty good. It's got its own little bag that you can put goodies in. It's got a semi-rigid construction and it's insulated inside, and it fits a coffee cup perfectly. My glamorous test model gave it a try out on her push bike, and it fits the push bike perfectly. The clamp fits nice and securely, and she gave it the thumbs up. I'm going to give away this cup holder. So, if there's an Australian viewer who would like this cup holder, leave a comment. I'll choose one at random and I'll send it out to you. Yes, it needs to be an Australian viewer because I'm not rich enough to post this overseas. Sorry. Anyway, back to the gloves. I'm giving these gloves a 5 out of 5 tick. And given that they're very inexpensive, I'm very surprised at how well they've performed. I've left a link in the description to both the gloves and the cup holder if you're interested. As I said earlier, I'm getting no commercial benefit from this other than the free gloves. And remember, whatever you ride and wherever you ride, please wear the appropriate safety equipment. Because sadly, common sense isn't that common.